we're going to continue our media availabilities for the day. We're joined by Kyle Busch, driver of the number 8 Chevrolet for Richard Childress Racing. If you have a question, please raise your hand and we'll get a mic to you. We're going to start here in the front with the blue jacket and we'll go to the back over here.
Hi, Dan Gelson, Associated Press. Kyle, where were you, how did you find out last year that you had been DQ'd?
Driving back to the airport after the race.
Big surprise to you and the team, and when you found out, I guess, what happened afterward, what was your reaction that something like that could happen, or just kind of like that's the nature of the game?
Yeah, I mean, it was a surprise that that happened for sure. Having no idea anything about that would come as a surprise. You know, getting a second place finish taken away from you, but I guess it wasn't as bad as having a win.
We'll go right over here.
Marty Sicala with Rock Sports Network and Race Pro Weekly. I got two. First, on the truck side, what would it mean for you or any of your drivers to score KBM's 100th truck win tonight or tomorrow?
Yeah, would certainly be nice. We've been talking about it for way too long, so that would be good. Again, you know, just having too many opportunities slip away for sure over the last probably 3 years of not being able to get to 100 by now. You know, only winning one race last year, only winning one race this year. You know, it's been pretty lackluster, so it'd be nice to come out here and have a good, strong run with our Zarice Transport Silverado and, you know, get back in victory circle.
And then on the Cup side, after tough last weekend, how hungry are you coming on into Pocono at a track where you've won 4 times since 2017?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that the hunger diminishes any week, more so than the next. Just, you know, missed opportunity last week. Just I couldn't carry it. I tried like hell to carry it, so just couldn't do it. You know, so obviously hurt us a little bit there last week, not being able to at least score a finish and get some points. Short track package has been our nemesis, still is. So, you know, so many ideas have been thrown around, and we've tried different ideas and concepts, and none of them have hit it yet. So obviously we haven't found the golden ticket.
We'll head to Zach, Nathan, Dustin, then Bob.
Zach Sternilo, NASCAR.com. Kyle, this was a track where it took a long time for you to break through here. Obviously have had recent success over the last 6 years. What was the difference? Was there something that just suddenly clicked about this place, or was it just finally getting finishes and executing at the end of the race?
It was a lot of things, yeah. I mean, definitely having a better understanding of how to attack the track, having good setups that would allow me and enable me to be able to run the grooves and everything that I needed to run. When the repave happened here, I'm terrible on repaves for a few years, so you know, it's finally getting to the point, you know, the last 5 or 6 that you know, the track's got some age on it, it's got some character to it and stuff like that, and spraying the PJ1 allows you to kind of widen it out and run different grooves. You don't have to follow in the guy behind you's wake, because that's the fastest way around. So not having that here this weekend will be interesting to see if we're back to square one with you know, single groove or what happens in that. But all in all, just 2014 kind of finally started to hit on something with Dave Rogers, and then right after that, 2015 with Adam felt just super easy, just clicked, and we've been fast here ever since that. So hoping that you know, Randall and the boys got a really good Lenovo Camaro for me to be able to race this time around and have some good success again, being at RCR.
We'll go to Nathan.
Nathan Solomon with a podium finish. Kyle, now after several races in the books this season with the short track package, how much of a concern is that for you guys going forward?
Yeah, it's a big concern. You know, we're, again, just trying to figure it out, and how many things we've tried, I can't even comprehend to tell you. So obviously we haven't hit on it yet, but we got Richmond coming up next week, so we've got to find something that's going to work for us there. And you know, definitely some different conceptual ideas that are kind of going around again on what to do, but we'll just have to play it out and see how it goes.
We'll go to Dustin.
You know, JC, kind of just off that, but like what exactly was wrong last week? Because there's obviously 3 separate incidents.
Same thing every time, just loose, no rear grip. I can't feel the back of the car getting into the corners. You know, on entry, especially getting into the turn, just tiptoeing, you know, and just trying to hold the steering wheel straight and not give it wheel. And anytime you give it wheel and ask for it to pull the car through the corner, the rear just steps out. The rear can't hold it. So that was our biggest issue. So yeah, that's been about our biggest issue on all the short tracks.
We'll go to Bob.
Bob Hawkers, Fox Sports. Are you flabbergasted about what happened last week, or do you need weeks kind of like that to when you're trying to figure out what to do with the short track package?
Well, I would say that how many short track races have we had? 6, maybe 5. Like, okay, enough's enough. You know, I don't think we need any more bad ones to prove that we're bad at them. You know, we need to find what the answer is in order to be good at them. So I know we're all working as hard as we can, and I'm in the simulator, 6 hours a week, every week, trying to figure it out and doing different things. We finally tried some more stuff this week that kind of hit on a little bit of what our issues were. We're trying to recreate the issues that we have at the track in the sim, and so we feel like we had a little bit of the right direction on that this time around. So again, we'll see if that's the case and what we found, but it would certainly be nice to just it would be nice if it was just as easy as copy and paste, right? Like if you could just copy the 5 or the 24 or whatever, which the 24 ran terrible last week too, but both of those cars were arguably the fastest cars at Richmond the last time around. So, I don't think it just comes that easy though. So we got to find out exactly what the right levers and buttons are to push and pull.
We'll go to Jeff.
A lot of the SVG success at Chicago is attributed to nobody had been on that course before. It was a street course, and the rest of the field didn't have that skill set. Now he's coming to Indy road course where you guys have been, and you guys are more experienced on road courses. So should we be expecting that he could be capable of doing that again, or is he going to be more a step behind when he gets there? What's your sense of how he'll do?
I would give him. How do I say this? I would say he's the favorite going in, for sure. I would say that the gap will be closer from Chicago to the rest of the field that he had. He had us all beat by probably 6 to 8 tenths of a second a lap. I would say going into Indy, we should all be within 2 or 3 tenths, but he'll still be the best guy.
We'll go back to Marty.
So following up on that, Brody Kostecki will be making his Cup debut at the Indianapolis Road Course. I believe he was a guest of yours when you won at Worldwide Technology Raceway. How excited are you to race with him, and did you possibly give him any advice?
Yeah, we tested together actually our V8 supercar that we have at RCR at VIR earlier this year. So he was there. When we first went out, I think he had me covered by about 2 seconds a lap, and then as the day kind of progressed, and by the end of the day, I actually ran times that were real comparable and right on top of his. So just took me a little while to get used to those cars and what they are and how much you can really attack corners and just various driving techniques that those cars take. But, I think that those guys are all very good at what they do and really understand the heavy stock car feel and basis for these road courses. And so I would assume that he'll be strong as well, and hopefully I can lean on him and learn a lot from him and have some time in the sim and stuff like that with him that will allow us to be better off when we get there as well, better prepared.
We'll go in the middle here.
Hi, Kyle. I'm Tropper Motorsports today. So you've been known to get in the car any type and just be able to win or at least perform well. So for your trucks this year, switching to Chevy, have there been any noticeable differences in the how you drive or just how you've been able to perform by switching manufacturers?
I would have said right after Vegas that it was seamless and we're actually better off. We won Vegas in dominating fashion earlier this year. All 3 of us qualified 1, 2, 3, so it was really, really good and gave us some high optimism for the year. But since then, it just hasn't quite gone that way. And, so Kansas was a struggle for us. We were just super off on balance. We did not have a very good feel there for what we needed from sim. So Pocono, I didn't do any sim stuff for here, so I just told them to rely on past notes. We've always been really, really fast here. Just, look at what balances we need and go from there, and we'll see what happens with, again, no PJ1 or anything like that being sprayed down. So I would like to think that, our stuff is just fine. It's just as good as it should be. Unfortunately, William didn't get any wins in his races that he was with us either, so that was another head scratcher and a bit unfortunate. So we know we got to get better, and there's some things that we know we're kind of lacking on. I've tried to voice that, and so hopefully we can remedy.
You can go with this weekend.
Thanks.
We'll go up front, and then we'll go to Chris Knight.
Kyle Shane at the Underground Sports. Last time you were here, you won that race in fourth gear.
Mm.
And
A couple of years ago, yeah.
Yep. So what have you told your team this go around to try to ensure that you get a fifth win here to ensure that that doesn't happen again?
Just make sure the clutch is bled and works good. And that's about it. But yeah, no, that was kind of ironic situation, just the way that all worked out. The clutch went out. I was stuck in high gear. And, the way that the fuel mileage race was, it was perfect fuel mileage for the end of the race, and me being able to kind of save and conserve fuel. So the rest of the pack was all on a different fuel strategy, so they had to pit or stop or whatever, which gave us that opportunity to get the lead. So felt good.
We'll go to Chris.
Like at Trends.com, Kyle, your Cars and Culture interview seemed to get a lot of attention this week, and I was just wondering how long you've been thinking about running a truck series schedule, full-time truck series schedule once your time in the Cup Series is done, to try to become the first driver to win a championship in all three divisions.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of tried that back in the day, 2008, 2009, somewhere in there, where run as many races as I possibly could. There was obviously some races where it gets expensive trying to fly back and forth, and the only way of doing that is private air travel, obviously, So, then the rules all came about where you can't run that and all that, so whatever. But obviously it's kind of been an idea of mine, and not necessarily why KBM is still going, but obviously we give back to the sport a lot doing that, and all the drivers that have kind of come through there over the years, but would like to continue to give back to me a little bit, I guess, or take from it as I get closer to hanging it up, and then obviously turning it over to Brex.
We'll go to the left over here.
Hey, Kyle, Brett Alper, WBRA TV. I was just wondering, what was your thought process kind of going double duty here at Pocono and racing in the Truck Series, something you haven't done in 2 years, rather than going to another track and doing double duty?
You want the truth? I'm only allowed so many races to choose from on the truck side, so this was about one of the only ones that was left that I could choose. With all the limitations and everything on Cup drivers being able to race in the lower divisions, I'm out of options, So that was just kind of why it was. I enjoy coming to Pocono. I don't mind racing here. I've won here, a couple times in the trucks. But, it's nice to just kind of get back out there and see what we have. Again, trying to continue to work on our program at KBM and evaluate, so that it'll be nice to just kind of get my final shakedown of that for this year, and brand new truck. So look forward to learning the most we can.
We're going to go up to the front, and we'll finish it off with Zach in the back.
Nick Elsnape. Kyle, do you feel drivers should be DQ'd, should have their finishers stripped, no matter what the violation is? Or do you feel the wins should stand and there should be other penalties levied against them?
I think we've had this debate for years. I think sometimes to me it depends on the severity of it, right? Like the piece of tape that was there last year for that infraction, I felt like it was a bit over the top, right? Obviously, I guess it was a blatant thing that shouldn't have been there, but honestly, if it was something missed or whatever, then that's the price we got to pay as a team, So we win and we lose together, so the cars have got to be right, and more right now than ever, because the rules are just and the infractions are just so stiff.
Go ahead, Zach.
In-house, Kyle, you only have the one full-time driver with Chase Purdy this year. I know you guys are also close with Rev Racing and the two truck with Nick Sanchez. What have you seen from both of them in their first full-time endeavors in KBM equipment?
Yeah, I think it's been pretty good with Chase and having his consistency. He does get a lot of top 10 finishes. There are some bad weeks where we don't get those finishes, or he doesn't run well enough in order to be able to achieve those finishes. But the times that he does run up front too, he hasn't really. We haven't been able to get the finishes in some of those as well. So it kind of goes back and forth. Like it's sometimes our mistakes, sometimes his mistakes, whatever. But again, what I just said before, you win and you lose as a team. So you just got to be able to work through it the best you can. I think him and his communication with his crew chief right now is getting better, and they're getting to a new point where I think that they've got a couple more weeks here for their final push to be able to make it into the playoffs. They're close. They can do it. It's achievable. They've just got to go out and really push hard and run hard. Sanchez has done a great job. I think he's probably shown the most speed in our stuff this year. Again, same thing. Like they had an issue at Nashville. I don't remember what happened, but he got back in traffic and the whole last run went green, but he drove his way back up, into the top 3 or 5 or whatever, and then had a caution there at the end. They pitted, and he got a third place finish. But so he's shown the most speed. Texas certainly would have been awesome to see him win there. They dominated that race and just didn't quite have enough there towards the end when they all got side by side and started side drafting each other. So, it's just a matter of execution and being able to do it. Those truck races are really, really tough. I kind of feel like the trucks are actually more competitive than the Xfinity Series at times, just with the amount of trucks and with the driver talent pool and everything else being so close and so equal that, it really puts on for some strong races, and guys got to really be on top of their game the whole race, just like a cup race, to finish it off.
Thanks, Kyle. Good
All
luck
right.
this weekend.
Thanks.